Good afternoon. Welcome to Columbia Rotary Club. Great to have everybody here. We got spring day in preparation for winter day, so it's all good. Jim Smithwick is going to lead us in the national anthem, along with Rusty DePass on the piano. Thanks, guys. Cell phones, if you pull them out and turn them off, that'd be great. Just a reminder. Russ Bell has our invocation. Russ?
Let us pray. Using the words of the peace prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Father, as Rotarians, as we seek to live up to the motto, service above self, help us to remember these words. Thank you for your many blessings, and Father, bless this food, and may it nourish us. In your holy name, amen.
Thank you, Russ. Before you sit down, those of you that are guests, we have a tradition, and we have something called the four-way test. All right, so I had to find it on the board. You can cheat and look up here, but we recite that every meeting. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And before I forget, one of my goals I made was get them out to our speakers so they'll carry the word Rotary out where they're going and talk about the four-way test. So thank you, Ray, for doing that. All right, fellowship, Mike Gorman is coming up to introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests.
Welcome to Columbia Rotary Club on a beautiful sunny day right before the storm. Hope you get to the grocery store quickly. We have one visiting Rotarian today, Columbia East Club, Beaver Hardy. Beaver, have you made it into the room yet? Where are you? This time we're going to ask if you're a Rotarian and you've brought a guest, if you will stand along with your guest and introduce yourself and the guest of the club, please.
I'm Rusty DePass, and my guest today is my son-in-law, Joey Byron, who is a recent graduate of the Southwest Acupuncture College in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he will be open for business pretty soon to stick any of you who are brave enough to undergo it.
Start with Rusty.
I'm Bob Crutchfield. And I'm Bob Crutchfield. I've got two guests, and one of them, a lot of you in here know Dr. Joe Faber, retired neurologist. This is not him, but it is his son. And Bill's been in the ministry and has just moved to Columbia and he's looking for work. So I'll throw that out too. I've also got Allison Hack here, and Allison works with a company called RSU. It's Renovations and General Contracting, owned by a Rotarian, Tony Thompson.
I'm Robert Goins. I have two guests. First, my wife, Rebecca Goins. And a great friend of mine, Brent Yarborough from Team IA. That's a technology company in Lexington, South Carolina.
Hey there, I'm Chris Bailey, and my guest today probably needs no introduction, but I'll introduce him anyway. Shakin' Dave Aiken, who does the PA for most of the Gamecock sports, it seems like. So.
Bernie Midnight, my guest today, Jim Morris, just been with me a couple of times. He was formerly with the 82nd Airborne Division, 1st Ranger Battalion, stationed in Germany and Sinai. He's now the executive director of SC Eastern Army.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Sullivan. I have as my guest today Jeff Griffin. Jeff is the president and CEO at W.O. Blackston. Jeff Griffin.
My name is Libby Gober, and I am delighted to have Dolores Langley, who is a very dear friend, and she is with AFLAC.
I'm Cliff Bodyford, and my guest is Don Mobley with Scott & Company CPAs.
Good afternoon, I'm Danita Todd, and I'm pleased to have with me today Scott Sanders. He's our General Sales Manager at WIS.
My name is Tom Persons, and I'm glad to have our special guest today, who is the award-winning writer from the state newspaper, writes on football. He's a Georgia Bulldog boy, but now he's a Gamecock. Josh Kendall.
I'm Gene Rogers, and those of you who are too young to remember 1942 and what was going on at USC at that time, we had a football coach who had a law degree from Notre Dame, and the dean of the law school who had no law degree, that was Dean Prince. We also had a winning football team, and the winning football team had on it the first member of the Gamecock squad to be named All-American, and he was so named in the 1942 season. First team All-Southern Conference, played in the 42 Blue-Gray All-Star game, married the mother of Kit Simmons, whom many of you know. He played he played football, but first of all, I need to let you know his name is Lou Sosserman, and I have him with me right now. He joined the Navy to see the world and saw Hawaii, where he played football, where the water boy was Stan Musial. Thereafter, after his discharge, and I played football all along, but thereafter, before the two football leagues were formally named, he was recruited by the New York Yankees, where he played with Tom Landry and Buddy Young. And I won't go into his other details, but it is my honor and my pleasure. I don't get to associate much with people like this, to introduce you to Lou Sosserman.
Hello, my name is Stuart White, and I'm pleased to have as my guest my father-in-law with me, Ron Dodson. Ron is an attorney here in town.
I'm Flynn Bowie. My guest today is Frank Kelby. Frank played shortstop on the Gamecock football team back in the early 50s. What did I say? Anyway, baseball team back in the early 50s. And he is a golf expert, Frank Kelby.
Fellow Rotarians, my name is Bob Borum. I have as my guest Barbara Borum, who is founder of Carolina's Healing Arts Institute. And 46 years ago today, we got married. And she said, "You don't need to take me anywhere fancy for, just take me to a place where they have loud, raucous people, a little music, maybe piano, a little singing, and where somebody from the group probably stand up and tell corny jokes." So I said, "Hey, let's go to Rotary."
My name is Elliot Powell. It's my distinct honor today to have three guests with me today. First of all, award-winning sports radio talk show host, Teddy Hefner. Didn't know we were going to have every media here today, but representing sports talk, Teddy Hefner. We got the CEO and president of Russell Jeff Coates Realty, Ron Rowe. And the chairman came with him, and many of you know him. His better half is Patty Russell. Glad to have him here.
I'm Dave Clark, and my guest has 4 years of eligibility left. Scott Stroheck, who recently retired as a gastroenterologist.
And I'm Jimmy Derrick, and I have as my guest today Scott Davis, who's the broker in charge of Caldwell Banker United Commercial Division. And both Scott helps me with auctions, and last time we saw Coach Tanner was when we were doing the auctions for the foundation. So we had a good time doing that. Thank you very much.
Ted Creek, you'd stand. Ted is with AT&T. He is formerly out of Charleston. He moved up here last year, and we're glad to have him as our guest today. Thanks, Ted. And Coach, would you like to introduce your guest, and you can talk about it a little bit later.
I'd like to introduce a little-known celebrity in the room, Dylan Thompson. Dylan is actually working in the athletic director's office this spring. It's the last course he needs to graduate, and he's interested in one day becoming a director of athletics. I'm interested in becoming a quarterback for Coach Spurs. So
have a great Rotary week. Thank you.
Okay, as Bob said, we're going to get some corny jokes in today, I'm sure, because Robert Goins is here. I can tell he must be really confident, and he brought his wife with him today. All right. Here, Robert.
He out-punted his competition, too.
I'm very lucky to have my wife, Rebecca, here. Thank you. I did outkick my coverage. Health and happiness. The first part, health. Announcing that longtime Rotarian Charles Blackman has been placed in hospice. Please keep him and his wife Gladys in your thoughts and prayers. Up in Rock Hill, it's hospice community care. You care to send cards. Indian Hook Road, Rock Hill, South Carolina, 29732.
We'll make sure to get that out by email.
Good deal. And I'll go out by email. John Johnston, is it your birthday today? Yesterday. Happy birthday, my man. Feels like springtime outside, but WIS News, Donita Todd would like for me to remind everybody that a wintry mix is on the way. I was announced out there in the lobby, and someone said, "That sounds like a stiff drink, a wintry mix." So we shall see. Robin Gorman, great news about Robin Gorman. She's joined Converse College as Regional Director of Development. Robin, congratulations. Catherine Horn, former member of our club, Executive Director of Adventure, and now Discovery Place up in Charlotte, received a well-deserved honor last week. She was awarded the Order of the Palmetto by our governor. So congratulations, Catherine. I was at the South Carolina Bar Convention this past weekend, and I ran into a longtime state court judge. And he had several things to say about one of our members that I'd like to share with you. That member is Reese Williams. Reese, where are you? There you are, right there. Reese, this particular judge said that you are one of the most honorable and greatest lawyers he has ever had the opportunity of being in the presence of. Reese, I thought those were huge words, and you're a great man. And thank you for being a shining example of Rotary, what it means to be a Rotarian, and the four-way test. Raise your hand if anybody watched the Grammys last night. Okay. A couple of you. The rest of you were in bed. I don't really have too many corny jokes because I'm really not that funny. So you got to be corny to have a joke, and I'm really not funny. So I'm telling you that I'm inspired. I was inspired by watching the Grammys last night and recognizing that Coach Tanner is our guest. Coach, you've been to the mountaintop, my man, twice. Won back-to-back national championships in Omaha. 3-time National Coach of the Year. The athletic director for the University of South Carolina. And I think everybody in this room would agree, Coach, that you embody everything that is good and right in college athletics. And perhaps if you ran for governor, you'd get that too. So I'd stick to athletic director. But there's one thing you don't have, Coach. Your own song. You do not have your own song. So I wrote a little ditty while I was watching Beyonce and Jay-Z and everybody else. The song is self-titled Ray Tanner, and it's to the music of Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline. So, in order for this song to work and for us to get into row, 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 Rotary tradition, and the chorus, I'm going to need help from our fellow Rotarians, saluting the man himself, Ray Tanner. John, Maestro, cue me up, my man. This is corny. You'll like this. You'll never forget this one. Ray is the man. I can't begin to thank him. He's a Gamecock for life. Was in the spring, and spring became the summer. In Omaha he won it all. Ray, Coach Tanner, you're the man, a legend, our AD. Ray Tanner, ba ba ba, you are the man and we know it. I've been inclined to believe they never would, but now I look at the record. Clemson can't seem to beat us. 5 in a row ain't that bad. And if we lose, losing runs off my shoulders. How can we hurt when we have Ray? Coach Tanner, you're the man, a legend, our AD. Coach Tanner, ba ba ba, Gamecocks have never been so good, so good, so good. I've been inclined, ba ba ba, to believe they never would, but we have you. All right, this is interlude. Coach, come on up here. All right, y'all gotta help me. George, ready? You gotta help too, Coach. Ray Tanner, ba ba ba, Gamecocks have never been so
Okay, so for all of you guests, we do not have that every week. Somebody, I did think that was kind of a sucking up move on his part. Tell Rex he's got something to cover on that one.
I think he wants tickets.
Oh, that was great. Thank you, Robert. Okay, so briefly, before we bring the famous Ray Tanner up to speak to you, we got a lot of guests here today, and as you can see, we have a lot of fun. We have good programs. We got a lot of good people. So those of you that are guests, we hope you'll consider being members in spite of that presentation. But one of the things that we do is raise money for scholarships for high school students. We generally try to support education. And John Denise and John Bacus are going to tell us a little bit about the golf tournament. I know it's early, but I just wanted to get it on your calendar. So, John or John?
Good afternoon. What a perfect day to talk about golf, right? What a great day. And I guess my job is the weather, so I'm going to have to produce another day like this for you on April 28th. That is the date of our tournament. We moved it back a little bit this year for a couple of reasons. We were trying to dodge spring break and all kinds of other issues and looking for a little warmer weather. So the tournament this year is going to be April 28th. We'll tell you more about it. We had a lot of fun last year, and we expect to have more fun this year. Carl Byers is our chairman again for this year, and we're excited about that. He did a great job last year. So we want you to help us fill it up. And one of the things we're trying to do is encourage Rotarians from other clubs to come join us because we only have so many great golfers in this club. And so we'll ask you to talk to friends who might be in other clubs and encourage them to think about joining us on the 28th. Put together a team. John would like to create some kind of competition, so we might figure that out. Dan Lee needs to go down this year. No! So, 8? 7. So we need to get you to help us bring in some folks for a little friendly competition, some fellow Rotarians. There's some good golfers in other clubs as well. We're excited about it, and we'll be talking more about it. I'm going to ask John to talk a little bit about the sponsorship thing. We received a number of great sponsors for the auction, and that carries over to the golf tournament, but John's going to give you a little more talk about that.
Thanks, John. I'm actually just up here at Coach Tanner's request. He always likes to speak after me because the microphone is the right height for him. And he's tall every time he comes up, so you're welcome, Coach. But, so folks, we are, as always, looking for sponsors. And as you know, our two main events that we use for fundraising, and as John Bacus said, we support scholarships, or as President Howe said, we support scholarships. But also we last year expanded it where we're supporting charities throughout the community and making it so that any charity that other people want to support, they can designate some of their gift to go to that charity. So we're really trying to expand this and have a bigger net and get people to contribute from all different avenues, and we're going to support a lot of causes. Most of them are children focused, but if you have a particular cause you want to get supported, donate a large amount of money and we will designate a big chunk of that to go to your charity. But we have some sponsorship opportunities available, and as we talked about last year, it was a joint sponsorship for the auction, which has already happened, and the golf tournament, which is coming up. So there's still time for you to be a golf sponsor this year. And the title sponsorship is still available. So if you're somebody like Brent Yarborough who wants to write a check for $10,000, become a title sponsor, we are happy to take that check. So Robert, thank you for bringing Brent. Don't let him get out of here, until that's taken care of. So everything but the title sponsor is available. We have sponsorship levels ranging from $1,500 down to $250, and we want to get as many folks as possible to sponsor. And it doesn't have to be members of this club. If you run a company or you're from outside of the club, please consider sponsoring. All of your money goes to a good cause. You'll get promotion on the new website that Mark Sullivan is making sure is up all the time. There'll be email blasts, so you'll get more bang for your buck than you've ever gotten before. So please consider sponsoring the golf tournament. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, guys. John Durst is going to introduce our speaker.
I feel like the part of the show that's anticlimactic. The speaker's already been introduced. He said the good news is he knows I'm not going to sing. I do want to begin with a quote. Sometimes you can search the world over for the perfect candidate, and at times you know you have the right leader within your own organization. That's what USC President Harris Pastides said when he announced Ray Tanner as the new athletic director at the University of South Carolina. He went on to say, for USC, we knew we had the right person on our team already. Ray exemplifies all the qualities I am seeking in an athletic director: integrity, a winning attitude, a confident leader and manager, and an individual who puts the well-being of our student athletes above and beyond all other things. In his first season as AD, Ray Tanner experienced a wealth of success. The football team turned in its highest national ranking in school history, while women's basketball, men's and women's golf, men's and women's tennis, women's indoor and outdoor track and field, men's outdoor track and field equestrian, men's and women's swimming and diving, softball and baseball all reached the NCAA postseason. A dedicated community leader whose charitable foundation is dedicated to the betterment of economically and medically disadvantaged children and their families. He has genuinely made a difference in many South Carolina families. He's a 3-time National Coach of the Year and Southeastern Conference Coach of the Year. He has completed 16 years as head coach at the University of South Carolina, establishing one of the premier baseball programs in college prior to being named AD. He led the Garnet and Black, as was mentioned earlier, to 2 NCAA Division I baseball championships, a pair of national runner-up finishes, 6 College World Series appearances, 3 SEC championships, 6 SEC Eastern Division titles, an SEC tournament crown, and 13 consecutive NCAA tournament appearances. He's received many accolades. A couple of them I want to mention is that his uniform number 1 was retired, and also the street outside Carolina Stadium was renamed in his honor. He's also been inducted into the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame. As President Pastides said, Ray Tanner is a man of integrity. We are fortunate to have him not only here at our university, not only within our community, but here in our state. I want to present to you a gentleman who truly exemplifies our motto, service above self, USC Athletic Director, Ray Tanner.
Thank you very much. I got to tell you, my nerves are shot. I know my role at these type of events. You're a free speaker. You can speak on whatever you want to. Be on time. You might get some lunch, and then get people out on time. And all of a sudden today, I get roasted. Mrs. Goings, I'm not a proponent of separation and divorce, but I certainly understand. Gracious. I was gonna tell you that standing up here today that I've been insulted in a way, and I wanted to get it off my chest, and now it's like I get it twice in like 48 hours. Now I want to tell you, who saw my picture in the paper on Sunday morning? Okay, Mrs. Lumpkin, I was at the ballet Saturday night. Okay, I was at the ballet. And it seemed like since my picture showed up, my phone started blowing up, and I got texts, and people saw me at church yesterday and all day today. They were like, "You were at the ballet?" And I said, "Like, you don't think I got some culture in my life or what?" He said, "We thought you'd gone to the Jason Aldean concert." I said, "No, I was at the ballet." So, and I will tell you this, if you haven't experienced the ballet on a regular occasion, there's more athletes under that roof that you'll find at most sporting events. It was very impressive. Congratulations, Lee. I was going to share a lot of good stuff with you today. I had some stuff that I thought you'd be really excited to hear about, but then Josh Kendall shows up and Teddy Hefner's with it. So we can't share all that, so I'm just going to say no comment. No, those guys are great, and I will say this throughout my career, could change tomorrow, but they've always been extremely fair when it came to reporting things that I was involved with. And Teddy, we appreciate you are the resident expert in baseball, so appreciate both of you guys. Dylan's been introduced already, but it has been exciting to have Dylan in the office this spring. This is the last requirement he has to finish his degree, and I've had an opportunity to learn a lot from him as he's been a part of our office, and I've taken him with us to a lot of different meetings so far. We had a great meeting a couple of weeks ago over in the Student Affairs office, talking about student conduct at football games. There's about 15 of us sitting around the table trying to figure it all out. Dylan raises his hand, and he solved it in about 2 minutes. So we're moving forward with some initiatives that you'll hear about later that was really part of Dylan and one other student's idea. So we're glad to have Dylan as part of our program in so many ways. What he stands for, the type of athlete he is, but tremendous character as well. So thank you, Dylan. If I could, I do want to share with you a few things that's going on at the university athletically. Right now, we got a number of teams that are ranked in the top 25. We got, in our latest polls, half of our sports, 10 of the 20. Now, we got 21 sports, but we do not have a poll yet for sand volleyball. And 7 of those teams are in the top 15. Equestrian is first. As you know, football finished 4th. Women's basketball with a great win yesterday. They were 10th. Maybe they go up a little bit today. How many of you guys watched that game yesterday? Great game. And I got to tell you now, being a coach for so many years, I sort of take officiating as it comes. You get a few, you don't get a few, it balances out in the end. Not too happy. I was watching it on television. I wasn't too happy early in the game, so I started texting our SID on the sidelines at Vandy yesterday. And lo and behold, she said, there may be something you don't know about in this game. I said, what is that? She said, Coach Staley was thrown out by one of these referees 2 years ago. I said, well, apparently he's still mad about it. But Coach Staley's team was tough. They hung in there and had a lot of turnovers yesterday, but we won a big game on the road, and Vanderbilt had not lost since we had beaten them here in Columbia. So 18-2 now, best start in school history, and 6-1 in the SEC. And they're back home, I believe it is, on Thursday night. So come see our women's basketball team if you haven't. Our women's indoor track team is 11th. Baseball, you might have seen today, is ranked 7th in the preseason poll. I think that's the highest ranked team in the SEC, if I'm not mistaken. Women's golf is 14th, and women's soccer ended up 15th. A lot of really good things going on, and just to mention some construction and enhancement that will begin soon. Our indoor football facility should start in the next few weeks with 2 new practice fields out behind Gamecock Park. Will give us an opportunity to improve the amenities and recruiting opportunities for our football program. Coach Spurrier really doesn't spend a lot of time, and he doesn't dwell a lot in things that he doesn't have. But those things are important for our football program to help us continue to move forward and recruit the best and brightest student athletes. Many of you may be somewhat familiar with the plaza around Williams-Brice. That will undergo changes after the 14 season, so after the fall 14 football season. As soon as the season's over, we'll start construction on the plaza. That will give you an effect that you have at Gamecock Park, and obviously we have to have it ready before we kick off in 2015. So a lot of work to be done there in a short period of time. The work that's being done, has been done at Carolina Stadium, is nearly completed. And those of you with little children or grandchildren, we have something new at the baseball stadium. We have a playground up on the first base side that's nearing completion. I was out there Saturday, I believe it was, and it's almost finished. So that's exciting as well. Our contributions to the Gamecock Club are at an all-time high. We're shattering last year's record of 16,800 members, and we've continued to raise a lot of money. The renewal date, if you're a Gamecock Club members, is Friday, January 31st. So make sure you get your renewals done. If you want to come by the Rice Athletic Center to do it. There'll be a lot of coaches having duty that day, as well as some student athletes. If you haven't been to the Rice Athletic Center, you want to stop in. It's a fabulous facility, a coaches support building. One thing that I'm really excited about I want to share with you, our student athletes, we have 528 student athletes. This is the 14th, we just finished the 14th semester in a row. 14 in a row where our athletes have averaged at least a 3.0. It's remarkable when you think about it, and Maria Hickman, our Senior Associate Athletics Director in charge of academics, has done a magnificent job, and her staff. But our student athletes deserve the credit. I know they get a lot of attention when they're playing games or in the pool or on the field, but academically they've done a heck of a job as well. To go along with that, we have, I don't want to confuse you, but we have 21 sports. We have 18 teams. So men and women cross over a little bit, and track counts 5 times. But we count, track is a 5-sport deal, but we count it academically as 2 teams, the men and the women. So of the 18 teams that I just mentioned about the 3-0, 18 teams, you have 17 of those teams had at least a 3.0. Only one program fell short. That is a new record as well. So tremendous run by our student athletes. Recently, I guess last weekend now, time escapes me, but we had the Legends Weekend, and we honored the Frank McGuire era players back for a basketball game. Had a wonderful weekend. It was so much fun to be a part of that. And Alex English was here, Kevin Joyce, Brian Winters, Mike Dunleavy, Coach Crimmins, and in front of the CLA, Green Street now has a Topper McGuire Way. It was a tremendous celebration by those guys, and many of them had not been back here in years. And you know, hearing a lot of the stories, I was telling them, I guess it was a Friday night affair. I was with Coach Crimmins and listening to some of the stories, and they were really good, as we all remember during those times. And I said to a couple of the guys, I said, I'd love to have been the athletics director when you guys were winning so many games. And then the story turned in a different direction. And I said, maybe I didn't want to be the athletic director. And they said, well, we just got to tell you, with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, we wouldn't have made it probably. But they had a great time, and we were glad to have them back. I want to share just some things with you about our football program, and I know that many of you are very aware of the success and the 33 wins in the last 3 years, and finished number 4 in the country. But I want to just tell you that we're one of 3 schools with Alabama and Oregon to finish in the AP top 10 in the last 3 seasons. One of 3. We also beat 6 teams that won bowl games. Clemson, Central Florida, Missouri, North Carolina, Mississippi State, and Vandy. And we won 5 games over teams that finished in the top 25. Missouri, Clemson, Central Florida, Wisconsin, and Vandy. And the Central Florida-Missouri games were on the road, and Wisconsin was at a neutral site. We finished with 6 consecutive wins, 3 of them against ranked opponents in Missouri Tigers, the Clemson Tigers, and the Badgers from Wisconsin. We were the only team to have 2 wins over BCS teams, Clemson and Central Florida, prior to the bowl games. And as you know, we're enjoying an 18-game home winning streak, which is fabulous. We've been ranked in the AP Top 25 for 64 consecutive weeks, tying Stanford for the 5th longest active streak in the nation. And we're only one of 4 schools joining Alabama, Oregon, and Northern Illinois to win 11 games the last 3 years. We won 3 straight New Year's Day bowls. Nebraska against Nebraska, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Another note that many of you have heard a little bit about, maybe you're completely aware of it or not, but we're about 6 months away from the launch of the SEC Network. We have actually a large portion of our staff today over in Birmingham to get up to date on the latest plans for this launch. You may remember or have heard that the University of South Carolina and Texas A&M will launch this network on the Thursday night to open football season. And just to make a point, unless you have AT&T Uverse and you're not in Williams-Brice Stadium, you won't be able to see that game. Okay? You with me on that? Now, we hope that there's some other subscribers coming your way. But just in case, www.getsecnetwork.com. You need to go to that website to check it out. But whoever your cable provider is, you'll want to be on board. There'll be 3 additional football games every Saturday. You're going to say, can there really be more football games? There's going to be 3 additional football games on the SEC network. It has nothing to do with ESPN, ESPN2, CBS, ESPNU. It'll be the SEC on ESPN. So 3 more games. And when a game is on that network, if your cable provider doesn't have it as part of their channel lineup, you won't be able to get that game. So we hope that everybody's on board. Now, you can talk about a lot of the challenges that we may face going forward with people being in the stands and be able to stay at home. But what this does for the SEC, if it is a successful venture within time in this 11-state footprint, it'll provide significant revenue back to the member institutions. With 14 schools, and it's divided by 15, it's a great opportunity for us to enhance what is already a great opportunity to be a part of the Southeastern Conference. So, but you will want to be a part of that. I think there's some other distributors that are pretty close to getting on board. But as we stand here today, AT&T UVerse is the only one that has officially signed up. Football signing date next week from Wednesday. And I'm sure we'll have another great signing class. I guess this morning looking at the 4 or 5 guys that we're on the short list with, that hopefully a couple of those guys will fall our way. And we talked a little bit about Coach Staley's team and what they're doing. You know, I had a chance to visit with Coach Martin. I guess it was last Friday for a few minutes before he took off from Missouri, and our men's basketball program is in good hands. He's done a wonderful job. I know at times it's been very frustrating for him, and you know, I was doing a little research before I went to meet with him. The worst record he'd ever experienced before coming to the University of South Carolina was 21-12 at Kansas State. So he went from that being his worst season to taking our program over last year. That was certainly in a rebuilding situation, but he's one heck of a teacher. He's a tough coach on the sidelines, but I feel very confident that we have great days ahead of us. And our guys have played hard, and we had a chance to win probably 2 or 3 of the 6 games we played, and hopefully the fortune will start to turn a little bit. I'll be glad to answer some questions. I do want to share in general with you a little bit. And, you know, I talked about our teams being ranked, our different sports. We have 21 sports now. We have 12 women's sports and 9 men's sports. And it's important to me, in the position I'm in today, that we give those student athletes an opportunity to excel at the highest level. Academically, without question. I mean, they're all going to go professional in something other than the sport they play, more than likely. There may be 2 or 3% that get a chance to play their sport professionally, although it may not last forever. But academics notwithstanding, we want to give our student athletes a chance to compete at the highest level. And many of us have been around here for a long time. This is my 18th year at the university. And we're enjoying some good times. It hasn't always been as good as it is now. But we're not content with where we are. We want to be able to compete in all of our sports. And that's where I figure in. It's a big deal to me that our women's tennis team has the resources they need to compete at the highest level, or our women's golf team, or whatever program it may be. And sometimes people say to me, well, how does it feel you don't compete anymore? I compete. I compete more than I ever thought I did before. I was actually yelling at the television a little bit yesterday. And that's a big deal to me. I appreciate that. I know how hard they work. It's not a perfect world. But we're moving forward with, this year, about a little bit more than $50 million worth of facility improvements or new facilities to enhance our student-athlete opportunities. And it affects their everyday life, just like the Doty Academic Enrichment Center did when it came online a few years ago. Their facilities, the ability for coaches to recruit and compete at the highest level. You know, I don't want to be a participant. I want to be a competitor. And we got to give them all the opportunities if we can. Sometimes you have limits on what you can do. But that's important to me. Last year, and I'll finish with this, we had 20 sports, because now we have 21. But last year we had 20 sports. 10 of those teams made the NCAAs. 10 out of 20. Not bad. It's got to be better than that. It's got to be better than that. And it's not something that I would put pressure on a coach or be disappointed in a team. I don't think our opportunities were as great as they need to be for them to advance. And I like it when we have 14, 15, maybe even 16 teams that make it to the postseason. And I think that we have those opportunities going forward. You can say whatever you want to, and you can use the slogans that have been used in the past. I think for many years, we were in the shadows a little bit of whatever program or whatever school that you want to talk about, in the SEC or otherwise. And we've sort of moved out of there. And it's important that we continue to do that and be excited. We got great fans. We got tremendous opportunities for our people. The passion and enthusiasm are second to none. When I came here as a baseball coach many years ago, true story, I knew Bobby Richardson, I knew Gene Raines, I knew about this fan base. I knew that if I could get a few pretty good players, we'd be pretty good, because I believed in the opportunities. And that is permeating through other sports as well. And I appreciate that, and I know many of you were there in the stands at the games, and we appreciate that very much. And thank you for the opportunity to visit today. I'm going to be a little bit shell-shocked the rest of the afternoon. It was a fun experience. Questions?
Coach, as a lifelong Gamecock fan, I grew up with the Frank McGuire era and following that basketball team. I just want to thank you for what you're doing to you and your support staff to bring back the old players. One piece of unfinished business, and I'm going to keep tooting this horn until we do something about it, regardless of whether he comes back or not. Tom Owens' jersey needs to be in the rafters at the CLA, and I just hope that you'll champion that cause, or at least get to the bottom of why we can't get it done.
That hasn't been lost, so that may become reality sooner than later.
Coach, and this is partially a question for Dylan. What's our graduation rate with our student athletes? And Dylan, you're graduating, but you're in your third year, but you're already getting your degree, your fourth year. But so how many of our athletes are getting their degrees? And so you've gotten your 4-year degree in a short amount of time.
Well, you bring up a good point. Dylan he has a year of eligibility left in football, but I would guess after spending the spring with me, he'll probably forego that year of competition. And just hang out with me the rest of the time. We make a pretty good team.
Dylan, please, no.
I should know that percentage off the top of my head, but we work extremely hard to keep our athletes here and get them back even when they leave, if they go pro. We have resources in place, and we have assistants to reach out and help them finish their degrees, and many of them are taking advantage of that. We don't lose very many that stay the course.
No, it seems to me like we've got guys that are still playing who've already graduated, so they're even doing it before they leave.
Well, and you talk about Bruce Ellington, you know, whether you support him leaving when he did or not, the young man finished his degree in 3 years. I mean, he played 2 sports and finished his degree. And Josh, Josh and Teddy probably have done more research than maybe anybody, but this is probably the height of his opportunities as an NFL player based on the kind of season that he had. Whether he should take advantage of where he is right now, who knows? All I know is he's a tremendous young man. He graduated in 3 years, and he felt like this was the best decision for him. I pat him on the back and I support him. Yes, sir.
Some that don't want or can't get AT&T, the university you're talking about. Are you talking about maybe Dish and Direct maybe being one of the providers, or are they too tied into ESPN for the SEC?
No, I think they're on the board, but I think everybody's on the board. Time Warner, Comcast, everybody's on the board. Okay. I can assure you, ESPN wants everybody, you know, as part of a distributorship for this network, and especially in the 11-state footprint, but beyond. And I could be speaking out of school here. I think it, you know, if many of us are Time Warner, I know there's AT&T Universe in this room too, but I think it'll be maybe $1.25 additional on your monthly bill. I think that's right. And outside the footprint, it will be a lot less than that, I guess. So And I could be wrong in providing that information, but hopefully that we'll have those opportunities, and it'll end up coming back into each member institution as well.
You know, it's a shame that we seem to live in an era now where a lot of people are very reluctant to talk about their faith. I've never met Dylan Thompson. I don't want this to be the Dylan Thompson show, but I got to tell you how proud I was to be at the annual conference of the United Methodists, to have him take the stage and give his testimony as a mentor to a lot of other people.
There's no question about Dylan Thompson. He talks the talk and he walks the walk, and we're very fortunate to have a young man of his athletic ability, but of strong character and faith that he has in a major part on one of our athletic teams. Well said.
Coach, why don't you tell us a little bit about your foundation and all the things that you're doing to help our community?
Jimmy asked about the Ray Tanner Foundation. Real quick, it started, I guess we're probably in the 9th year. When we came to Columbia back in the summer of '96, my wife said we need to start a foundation, and I told her the foundations are for people that coach football and basketball that could bring an audience that could make a difference. She said, well, we do a lot of things in the community, but we could do more if we would lend your name to it. I said, we may do less if we lend my name to it. So I was reluctant for a couple of years, but we did start it, and we do a couple of events a year. Our road race, the Ray Tanner Home Run, and we raise money throughout the year. And basically our foundation, our mission statement is for medically and physically challenged children and their families here in the Midlands. I know a lot of people need help. We're really not on a national scale. We put our money back into the community, into the Midlands, 100% of it. There is no office, there's no overhead, and we put everything back in, and it is really done quite well. We've been able to reach out to so many people. I think last year we gave back $80,000 or $85,000 back to the community. So it's a sort of a mom and pop's foundation, but it's been very healthy, and we appreciate you mentioning that.
Ray, next week we're having Jason Fryer come in. He's been on a tour of the city talking about the new baseball stadium that the city would like to be a part of. Could you comment or just tell us maybe perhaps some of the questions we should ask him when he's here next week?
I'm not interested in the political office. I actually had lunch with Jason not too long ago, Jason Fryer of Hardball Capital, and he's a baseball guy. So we obviously had a lot to talk about, and about the minor league team coming here. There was a minor league team here. I remember we were Sarge Fry, and the Bombers were playing across the way. I'm certainly not an expert. I think it comes down to the demographics, where the money comes from. If it's going to be an injection into our community, if it's going to create jobs, if it's going to have a positive economic impact, I'm for it. Do I think there's competition with us? I do not. It's baseball. That's where it stops. I mean, we use different bats and use different balls than the minor league team does, quite honestly. And they're more in the entertainment industry, and we're more of a baseball product, winning a game today. And it's a little bit different from that aspect. So I'm not an expert in that area, and it could work if there's enough buy-in, but there has to be, no pun intended with Jason's, but there's got to be ownership. If you're going to have something come in and be successful, there's got to be tremendous ownership in it from all the constituencies.
One more question. Anybody? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, here's another token of our appreciation of you being here. Thank you very much. Guys, this is a reminder that next week we are not going to be at Seawells, okay? There's a lot of reminders that go out. I know everybody just reads everything you get from Rotary every time it comes. Do not come here because you'll be late, because then you'll leave here and go over to Stone River. It's the old New Orleans restaurant on the West Columbia side of Gervais Street Bridge. If you are under 40 years old, okay, park across the street in the big parking lot or down in the West Columbia River Walk. area. I don't want to hear any of my, and everybody senior to 40, I'm putting you in that category, complaints about not having parking spots over there. Inside of the facility is about 85 parking slots. This is another road trip. We're just checking out another place just for everybody to have their thing to talk about, okay? So next Monday, we will not be here. We will be at Stone River at 1 o'clock. As I just said, Jason Pryor with the new baseball potential stadium is going to be there to talk about it. Hope you'll be there. Guests, come back for that. You're welcome anytime. Bring more guests next week. Thank you. Jim, we're going to sing. You want to ask Robert to come up here and help you? Oh, beautiful for facing